Hi, I am Anirudh and I am from Iron Prichi and I'll be discussing the NPA situation in the country. So let's start off by discussing what is an NPA. The assets of the bank which don't perform, that is that they don't bring any return, are called non-performing assets or bad loans. Banks' assets are the loans and the advances given to the customers. If the customers don't pay either interest or part of the principal or both, the loan turns into a bad loan. As of June 2016, the total amount of gross NPAs for public and private sector banks is around 6 lakh crores. The amount of top non-performing asset of public sector banks alone stands at rupees 1.54 lakh crores of all the banks. Indian Overseas Bank fares the worst, having the highest ratio of NPA to total advances at a staggering 20.26%. UCO Bank and Bank of India follow at 18.66% and 16.01% respectively. In absolute terms, State Bank of India has the highest value of gross NPA at around rupees 93,000 crores. Punjab National Bank and Bank of India come next at 55,000 crores and 44,000 crores respectively. Talking of industries, basic metal and metal product sector is the worst in terms of NPA ratio. The government data as of June 2016 shows that a third of all outstanding advances given to these sectors turn into NPAs. So let's talk about a few of the reasons for the rise of NPAs in recent years. GDP slowdown. Between the early 2000s and the 2008, the Indian economy was in the boom phase. During this period, banks and especially public sector banks lent extensively to corporate. However, the profits of most of the corporates dwindled due to the slowdown in the economy. The, the ban in the mining projects and delay in environmental related permits affecting power, iron and steel sector, the volatility in prices of raw material and the shortage in availability of materials has also impacted the industry. This also affected their ability to pay back loans and is one of the most important reasons behind increase in NPAs of public sector banks. One of the main reasons of rising NPAs is also the relaxed lending norms, especially for corporate honchos, when their financial status and credit ratings was not analyzed properly. So this has a lot of impact when a public sector bank attempts to give a loan to a big corporate. Also, to face competition, banks were usually selling unsecured loans, which attributes to the level of NPAs. Public sector banks provide around 80% of the credits to startups. This also had a very large impact on the NPAs in the country. Last year, when Kingfisher was marred in financial crisis, SBI provided it huge amount of loan which it was not able to recover from it. There is a myth that the main reason for rise in NPA in public sector banks was priority sector lending. However, according to the findings of the Standing Committee on Finance NPAs in the corporate sector, are far higher than those of are far higher than those in priority of or agriculture sector. However, even the PSL sector has contributed substantially to the NPAs. As per the latest estimates by the SBI, education loans contribute 20% of the NPAs. The lack of bankruptcy code in India and sluggish legal system also make it difficult for banks to recover these loans and has also contributed to the rising NPAs. Now let's talk about some other factors. Other factors such that banks did not conduct adequate contingency planning, especially for mitigating the project risk. They did not factor eventualities like failure of gas projects to ensure supply of gas or failure of land acquisition processes for railways. Restructuring of loan facility was also extended to companies that were facing larger problems of over leverage and inadequate profitability. This problem was more in the public sector banks. Companies with dwindling debt repayment capacity were raising more and more debt from the system. So these are in broad the factors that led to the rising NPA problems. Now let's talk about the steps taken by the RBI and the government in the last few years to curb the rising NPAs. The government has launched Mission Indradhanush to make the working of public sector banks more transparent and and professional in order to curb the menace of NPAs in future. Specific measures have also been taken for sectors where the incidence of NPAs is very high. The government has also implemented the IBC, or the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, and has also enacted SARFAESI Acts. The SARFAESI Acts, along with the RDD BFI, which stands for the Recovery of Debts due to banks and financial institutions, have been amended. The These acts have also made it easier for the government to to get back NPAs from large standing corporates. Further, new debt recovery tribunals, as DRTs, have also been established for improving recovery. Long-term measures to cover the NPAs of public sector banks include improving credit risk management. Credit risk management includes credit appraisal, credit monitoring, and efficient system of fixing accountability and analyzing trends in group leverage to which the borrowing firm belongs to. Banks also need to see the source or structure of equity capital. Banks need to see that promoters' contribution is funded through equity and not through debt. To curb NPAs in the long run, banks should also conduct necessary and sensitivity analysis and contingency planning while appraising the projects, and it should build adequate safeguards against such external factors. A large part of recovering NPAs is also to enforce accountability. Till now, lower ring officials were considered accountable even though loaning decisions were taken at higher level. Thus, the sanction official should also share the burden of responsibility. Restructured accounts should be treated as non-performing and technical write-offs where banks remove NPAs from their balance sheet. Lastly, the corporate governance should be addressed with issues in PSB. This include explicit fits and proper criteria for appointment of top executives and instituting a system of an open market for the search of a chairman. Thank you.